Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. I really appreciate that. I'm Melvin Carter, and I'm honored for the privilege of serving as mayor of the most incredible city on the planet, St. Paul, Minnesota. Before I continue, I do have to give honor to my predecessor in this office. I saw him walking in, former Mayor Chris Coleman, and Connie Coleman is here as well. There they are. And also our predecessor, former Mayor George Latimer. It's good to see you here, sir. Listen, I'm excited to be mayor of St. Paul. And I'm excited, although I'm not as energetic as Chief Harrington this early in the morning. I'm excited for the prospects for our city. See, we're figuring something new out in St. Paul. You know, we're figuring out some things, and I first figured it out one day when we were talking about the river. You know, St. Paul has more river frontage on the Mississippi River than any city in America. That's why we're a city in the first place. And we've realized that all we do, instead of saying, how do we maximize the cultural, economic, and social asset that creates for our city, we build bridges to get over it. We treat it like a problem to get over. You know, in some ways, our diversity is the same way. You know, I grew up in St. Paul, but the St. Paul I grew up in didn't look the same as the St. Paul of today. Our population is bigger and far more diverse. And too often we find ourselves in St. Paul saying things like, you know what, we're going to be the type of place where all of our children and families can succeed despite our diversity, despite our multilingualism, despite all of these things that are what give St. Paul the biggest competitive edge for the future. The operative phrase for our administration is because. We can be a city where all of our children succeed because we're so diverse, because we're so multilingual. Our mantra, I know you've heard it, is building a city that works for all of us. And to build a city that works for all of us, it requires all of us getting a chance to do a part of the building. We've built our 3 core pillars, which our administration is built on: public safety, but through a smart on crime lens, lifelong learning to ensure that all of our children and adults are on their way to a successful future, and economic justice and inclusion. The reason I'm here this morning, the reason I've been a part of Ujamaa Place, I haven't done any of the hard work, but I've been a part of this family since its beginning, at that table where we sat at the beginning, is because this is an organization that sits on the nexus of all 3 of those things. This is an organization that empowers men to take control of their future. This is an organization that connects families to opportunity. This is an organization that supports our public safety through that smart on crime lens that says, instead of figuring out how we can spend every resource chasing people around, let's figure out how we can spend every resource making sure that people are prepared for a job, making sure that people are qualifying for a good education, making sure that people are stably housed. And we know that when people in our community are stable, that our communities will be more safe. When I was on the city council, a constituent of mine looked at me and said, you know what, I just returned to our community from incarceration. And he said, they told me to go be a productive, contributing member of society. And he said, Mayor, but I was on the council then. He said, but council member, I have one question for you. If I can't live here, if I can't work here, and if I can't vote here, what is a contributing member of society? And so I am pleased to stand with you, to stand with all of you, to work on all 3 of those challenges that he delivered to me. I'm excited to be a part of the Ujamaa Place family, and I'm appreciative to have everyone in this room as our teammates as we work together to build a city that works for all of us. Thank you very much.